Welcome to Wandering Jews at J Squared Adventures. Travel far enough and you meet yourself.
We're your hosts. I'm Scott.
I'm Sorrel.
So close to the bustling center of the Tel Aviv metropolis, yet in so many ways a world apart. Today, Wandering Jews takes us to Ramle, a city born at the crossroads, where geography meets history and where cultures collide and converge.
Location, location, location. That is most certainly true for the city of Ramle. It rose where the Via Maris, the way of the sea, ran along the Mediterranean, connecting Egypt, Syria, and Mesopotamia. Ramle sat right at the crossroads where that highway met the road between Jaffa and Jerusalem. Because in the end, it is all about location. Rulers, merchants, scholars, and pilgrims all passed through. That history of being at a crossroads continues to shape Ramle today.
And you're hinting at it. Crossroads is more than a point on a map. It's a metaphor for encounters that define the city and its story, between Jewish, Muslim, and Christian communities, between past and present, and today between Jewish and Arab Israelis who share the same streets, yet often move within different social and economic lanes.
As we explore Ramle, we'll pause to consider the question you posed, Scott. What crossroads can actually teach us about memory, belonging, and the ongoing work of building a shared city? Before Ramle existed, nearby Lod, or Lida, was an important Jewish center in the late Second Temple and early rabbinic periods. We have sages like Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus and Rabbi Akiva who taught there in the late Second Temple period. And actually, archaeology confirms this with finds from Hasmonean, Roman, and Byzantine times linking the text to real life.
Benjamin of Tudela, the acclaimed 12th century Jewish adventurer and journeyman, recorded a Jewish community and cemetery in Ramle, underscoring a continuous thread of Jewish life in the region. He writes, "It's two parasangs." And for those of you who aren't sure what a parasang is, because I had no idea.
I ran 2 parasangs yesterday.
Exactly. It is approximately 7 to 8 miles. 7 to 8 miles to Ramle, which is a large town, he writes, containing about 300 Jews and a large number of Christians and Muslims. There's a synagogue there. And outside the city is the grave of Samuel the prophet in a large building erected over his grave. Therefore, it is half a day's journey to Lod, where there were about 200 Jews. So even in the 12th century, Benjamin of Tudela talking about some 500 or so Jews in that area of today, what is Ramle and Lod.
So we know that Ramle is unique in the land of Israel because it was founded as a new city, not built on an ancient tell, by the Umayyad governor and future caliph, Sulaiman ibn Abd al-Malik, at around 700 to 715 CE. It became the capital of Jun Philistine, the administrative region whose roots and name go back to Roman times, replacing Lod. So from the start, Ramle's strategic location at 2 great roads made it a center for administration, trade, crafts, and scholarship.
One of Ramle's most iconic landmarks is the White Mosque, with its tall minaret, often called the White Tower. Built under the Umayyads and rebuilt by the Fatimid and the Mamluk, subsequent Muslim, Arab dynasties. It served both as a minaret and a guard tower, a watchtower overlooking the roads and the outskirts of the city.
Al-Maqdisi, a 10th century geographer, praised it as follows. The chief mosque of Al-Ramle is in the market, and it is even more beautiful and graceful than that of Damascus, the Umayyad Mosque. It is called Al-Abyad, the White Mosque. In all Islam, there is found no finer mihrab, prayer niche, than the one here, and its pulpit is most splendid to be seen after that of Jerusalem. Also, it possesses a beautiful minaret built by the Caliph Hisham ibn Abd al-Malik.
Over the centuries, Ramle changed hands many times. During the Crusader era, Ramle was sometimes misidentified as Aritmea, appearing as a fortified town, and later a lordship in the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Mamluk rule saw restoration and public works, including the mosque precinct. The story here is one of shifting sovereignties and stubborn urban continuity. A city functioning, damaged by earthquakes and war, yet repeatedly rebuilt because of its position along the enduring crossroads of what was in ancient times the Via Maris.
Fast forward to 1948, Ramle became the epicenter of one of 1948's most pivotal yet painful chapters, Operation Danny, which took place for 10 days between July 9th and 19th. The IDF captured Lida and Ramle to secure the Tel Aviv-Jerusalem road. While it succeeded militarily, the result, the upshot, was the expulsion of tens of thousands of Arab residents.
Operation Danny was a turning point in Israel's War of Independence and in Ramle's history. Its strategic goal was to secure the Tel Aviv-Jerusalem corridor, a lifeline for the besieged Jewish population in Jerusalem. Ramle and neighboring Lida sat astride this corridor, making their capture essential for Israel's survival.
Operation Danny essentially caused a demographic earthquake. It transformed Ramle from an Arab-majority town into a Jewish-majority city practically overnight. Historian Benny Morris documents the orders and scale of these expulsions, while Anita Shapira frames them within the existential pressures of state building and the ethos of a society fighting for survival. And, you have to kind of embrace the idea that two things can be true at the same time.
For sure. For Palestinians, these events epitomize the Nakba, the catastrophe of 1948, marked by the painful loss of home and of homeland.
While for Israelis, they're often narrated as a strategic necessity in a war for existence. This duality makes Ramle a flashpoint of contested memory, illustrating why 1948 remains unresolved for some in historical consciousness and political discourse.
Between 1948 and the mid-1950s, Israel absorbed hundreds of thousands of immigrants, Holocaust survivors from Europe, Jews from North Africa and the Middle East. Many funneled through temporary campsite towns known as ma'abarot and into new development towns throughout Israel's geographic periphery, as well as older urban centers like Ramle and Jaffa.
So let's take a look at Ramle today. If we look at its demographic, it had 84,000 residents, of whom roughly 76% Jewish and 24% Arab residents. On the socioeconomic scale, Ramle ranks in Cluster 4. Explain to us, Scott, what is Cluster 4?
So when we talk about these so-called clusters, the Israel Central Bureau of Statistics, it ranks localities on a 1 to 10 social economic scale, 1 being the lowest or the weakest and 10 being the highest. And Cluster 4, as you can guess, is kind of a lower middle step, a lower middle tier, below national average in income and in education, higher unemployment as compared to upper tier cities or upper tier clusters. And these mid-range cluster towns or cities, they often include, for example, Israel's development towns and also Israel's mixed cities with their own specific social economic challenges. Indicators used to build these clusters are based on education levels, employment rates, household income, housing conditions, and also even car ownership.
So in that light, if we zoom out, clusters 1 to 3 can be characterized by the lowest socioeconomic status, mainly Arab towns, some ultra-Orthodox areas. And then as we move up, clusters 5 to 8 represent the middle to upper middle, typical Jewish urban areas, while clusters 9 to 10 point to affluent suburbs and high-income neighborhoods, right? And health access is anchored by the nearby Shamir Medical Center. That's in Ramle.
To put Ramle's situation in perspective, we can compare it to a town like, for example, Kiryat Gat. So kind of north of Beersheba, the edge of the Negev Desert, and below the Judean foothills. Roughly the same size and social economic standing. Both face similar challenges: below average income, education levels, and the need to create greater opportunities for residents.
So the difference is in how they're anchored. Kiryat Gat has Intel's Fab 28 plant, which brings jobs and economic stability, while Ramle is investing in urban renewal, infrastructure, and shared society programs to create opportunity in a different way, which really points to a city's success isn't just about its location or size. It's about how well it brings together its people, resources, as well as opportunities.
For sure, Ramle is actively investing in multiple areas to strengthen the city. City center regeneration, transforming, for example, Ramle's historic core into a vibrant mixed-use district, new housing units, new commercial space, and also cultural hubs. The Weitzman Urban Renewal Plan, planning over 1,400 housing units in high-rise and mid-rise buildings, integrated with green spaces and public institutions, all examples of different kinds of urban renewal projects.
And when it comes to transportation and connectivity, Metro Brown Line 4 planned stations in Ramle to connect the city to Tel Aviv and the Gush Dan region. We're also looking at an upgraded train station, enhancing Ramle's role as a commuter hub, with improved access to Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
And there's also plans around employment and economic development. The Terminal 6 project, a multi-million-dollar employment hub, expected to generate up to 30,000 new jobs. The IDF, New Horizon Base, thousands of soldiers and staff daily, hopefully living in the city and also boosting local commerce. A medical campus, new healthcare and research center to serve the region and create opportunities for skilled jobs.
And when we're talking about opportunities to improve cohesiveness in society and coexistence, there are the Abram initiatives, programs promoting Jewish-Arab cooperation, safety, and municipal capacity. There's also educational initiatives in schools to foster dialogue and alleviate tensions.
We mentioned heritage and the historic value of the Ramle Lod area, and so also around heritage and tourism, the Pool of Arches, conservation and visitor upgrades, boat tours, educational exhibits in this fascinating area, which is really underground, but gives a chance to see the hidden city of Ramle from the Muslim periods. The White Tower Precinct plans to integrate these heritage sites into a renewed city center. And if you add to that the things we've talked about with regards to transportation, hopefully making a lot of these sites much more accessible, both to tourists and hopefully also to Israelis.
And in the government and municipal level, there are plans underway to improve financial management, HR systems, and service delivery to support rapid growth.
So if we take a look at Ramle's story, which begins again at a geographic crossroads where ancient trade routes converged, that location made it a city of markets and mosques, so of pilgrims and, yes, also power struggles. But the crossroads is also a metaphor for the choices that have shaped Ramle and those that are still ahead.
So when we look at the crossroads today that Ramle faces, these are the questions. Are we looking at urban renewal or urban neglect? Shared society or deepening divides? Inclusive growth or an even opportunity?
And in that sense, the city's future won't be decided by geography alone, but it will be decided by policy, investment, and civic imagination. If Ramle can turn its literal crossroads into a meeting place of communities, it can become a model for Israel in general, a place where history is acknowledged, where diversity is embraced, and where opportunity is hopefully shared.
From the micro level, the Ramle market serves as a vibrant intercommunal hub where Jewish and Arab residents interact daily through commerce, conversation, and shared routines, right? We know that markets in general can be potentially, if we're talking about crossroads, it can be a unifying force. Its stalls and alleyways echo with languages, flavors, traditions, the diversity that you're describing from across the region, making it a vibrant mosaic of coexistence. It is a city shaped by crossroads, crossed communications, and historic conflicts, but the market remains one of Ramle's most authentic meeting places. Ramle really essentially reminds us that crossroads are not just geographical intersections. They are moments of pivotal decision-making where history turns and futures are forged. The question, as always, is, which road will we take?
And now, something for the road. A tip, a recommendation to help you make every journey your own.
Hello, my name is Sharon Wagner-Zauder. I'm one of the tour educators at J Squared Adventures. And today I'm sharing with you in Something for the Road an in-depth look at the Indian community in Ramle and especially their cuisine. So if you are in the market at Ramle, there is an amazing Indian vegetarian restaurant on Herzl Boulevard 87. It was established in 1989. And when I was growing up in England, the area that I lived in, London, had the highest percentage of people from the Indian community in the whole of London. So I grew up in my elementary school with students from the Indian subcontinent, and also the smells and the taste of the cuisine that was around us. We never used to go out to eat at all. But on the odd occasion that we did, we'd go to this amazing Indian vegetarian restaurant. And so my childhood memories are of Indian cuisine, and I love it so much. Within Ramle itself, there are about between 70 to 80,000 people who are from the Indian community. And they come from the major one of the Bnei Israel. They're from Western India, from Mumbai. You have the Cochin Jews from the south of India. You have the Baghdadi Jews, which are in the north, in the Bengali area. And the Bnei Menashe, which is a very, very small group, but they're in from the northeast of India. And we're very aware that India is a massive, massive country. And when you're talking about Indian cuisine, it seems to be all put into one. And the reason for that is that when you are in exile, they actually, when you're trying to put a restaurant together, as the manager was talking about, he has to cater for everybody who wants to come and eat Indian style food. Now, the thing is, in the Maharaja restaurant, it's amazing because at the front, it's a dairy vegetarian restaurant. Majority of Indian cuisine for Indians on an everyday level is vegetarian. You very rarely get meat. You get it at special occasions. For the Jewish community, obviously, that would be Shabbat and festivals, or special occasions if they're celebrating a bar mitzvah or a wedding. But everyday fare would be vegetarian. That doesn't mean vegan. There is a whole section about how you make your own paneer. Paneer is a type of cheese that is acid set that you can make at home if you have a cheesecloth, vinegar and milk, and are willing to wait a couple of days for it to come together. And then you're able to slice it and use it immediately. It doesn't melt. It's not a melting cheese at all. So actually it holds its shape. It's really good for, like, within Indian cuisine, they have it as skewers or inside curries and stuff like that. And because you use it straight away, it doesn't need that refrigeration that would come from other cheeses. So it's one of the major sources of protein. The other one is obviously the lentils and the beans and the peas and all of those different things that they use within their cuisine there. So the front part of the restaurant is the dairy restaurant, dairy vegetarian. The back part is the Indian food store. And when I first came to Israel, I was really wanting this Indian food that I missed growing up in England. It's so weird. When I go back to England, one of the first places I go to is an Indian vegetarian restaurant. I don't feel like I've been in England unless I've had Indian food. It's the craziest combination. So at the back there, you'd have all your garam masala, all your spice mixes. I don't cook with clarified butter, but ghee is the center part of Indian community. There's clarified butter. They have it in massive Tupperware tubs that you can go off and buy. They have all these sections of amazing, like chopped garlic and ginger, which are the beginnings of nearly every Indian dish that's savory. So people go there not only to eat, but also to buy their things. So if you're looking for something good on the menu, they recommend the masala dosa, which is potato-filled pancake. It has a sweet and spicy sauce. The paneer palak, which is, like I said, that cheese that they make with spinach. Spinach is a big connection. And the thali. The thali is one of the big things. Now, they come from the south of India, but they now have been used all over and everyone has one. And it's a complete meal. It's named after the metal plate that it comes on. You get 3 types of slow-cooked dishes. One of them is always a dal, which is a lentil stew, and the other ones is other vegetable dishes. And there comes with yogurt and chutneys and all of those things. So this is my something for the road. It's been a pleasure sharing it with you. I look forward to sharing many other exciting places, tastes, sights and sounds when you come to Israel with J Squared Adventures. Thank you very much. This has been Sharon Wagner-Zelda.
Thanks for listening. Dive deeper into the world of travel on our J Squared Adventures website. That's j2adventures.com. And stay in the loop with our latest adventures on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, all under J2 Adventures. And if you enjoyed hanging out with us, don't forget to leave us a comment, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, travel safely and keep wondering. I'm Sorrel.
I'm Scott.
See you soon with the Wandering Jews.